Welcome to Any Given Thursday, where, those two friends who kind of think they're smart and kind of think they're funny and decide to try and make something. Like Brett and Link, if they weren't successful.
I got two friends. One of them's me and the other I'm recording with. Two.
It's me, Rob.
I'm Kevin. I'm one of my two friends.
I'm also one of my two friends.
So, are you... Well, I guess you're my other? Damn.
I know, right?
Well, it could be worse.
Could be worse.
Could be bad. No, it could be worse.
It could be worse.
It could be worse.
Could be worse. I don't think...
We're going to leave it at that. Yeah. What are we talking about?
Well, I kind of have a question for you, Kevin.
I kind of have an answer for you, Rob.
See how, it's...
I might have two, actually.
Oh, probably. See how it's nice when, I have a topic and it's one question, potentially?
I don't remember anytime that's actually happened.
Okay, fine, you got me there.
It starts as one question.
It definitely starts as one question. It's going to this week as well.
It's going to devolve into at least three, is my guess.
Are there no new ideas?
Oh boy, is that what we're doing?
That's what we're doing.
Is that we're closing out with that, huh?
That's what we're closing out with.
Say it as a statement.
There are no new ideas.
I agree.
You agree?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was somewhat hoping for the opposite.
Well, so I feel like you need to define to what degree an idea is new.
I think that specificity is not... If you can eliminate specificity in terms of, like, specific items, like brands, or...
Sure.
I don't know. I'm not sure where you would limit it, but at the very least, like, brands, like this item, generic items, that sort of thing.
What?
No? Alright. I think that if blanket statements like, okay, well, this person did this instead of this person did this. So
what does that have to do with new ideas and formulating new ideas?
Well, it depends on how specific the ideas are, I guess.
Give me a more concrete example.
What if Kevin jumped off a bridge? If you replace Kevin with anybody else, it's not a new idea.
I agree. I think, like, there... And that's true for beyond just, like, people. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you... Yes, I agree that, like...
That's why I was saying, like, brands or, like, really, like, wide-arcing...
Just objects. Like...
Well, objects gets tough, right?
I think you can simplify anything down to a base enough idea.
Or sandwich.
Yeah, or soup. But yeah. Yes, I agree with that as well. But, like, if you can simplify something down to a basic enough thought that it encompasses everything, then correct. Even the slightest change on that will not be classified as a new idea. So, I don't know. For one thing that comes to mind for me is, like, movies or, like, videos or, like, content that you see with your eyes.
Well, like the hero's journey. They've kind of, like, boiled down, many movies, adventures, books into, it just follows the hero's journey. And most of the time, they're right.
That's too specific.
That's too specific.
Yep. I think we need to go more general than that.
Well, I just meant in general, like, are there no new ideas? It's like, well, yeah, everything's just using what somebody else has already done.
Right, but I'm going.
Yes, movies exist. That's not a new idea.
Right. See, that's what I'm going for. Is like movies exist.
Okay.
Moving pictures exist. Pictures exist. Pictures exist from like drawings, like self-expression has existed.
Yeah, I don't know if
so there are no new ideas.
I don't know if just because there are imagery, there's no new ideas.
No, that's one through line that I'm following.
Okay,
right, so it's like there are no new ideas because everything is just an update on something that's already existed. So if it's already existed, it's not new. Right? A movie is just a moving picture. Pictures have already existed, so movies are not new.
I mean, I guess are there new ideas in how you present that media?
No. Because to the same point, like, names change, right? So, like, whether I'm seeing it in a theater or on Netflix doesn't matter. It's not a new idea.
When I thought of this, the other thing I thought of was it being a new product doesn't mean it's a new idea. It means that technology has gotten to a point, or somebody had the money or finances enough to figure out how to make it. It doesn't necessarily mean that nobody has thought of it before.
Yes.
It means that somebody with the right amount of resources has thought of it.
Yeah. Leonardo da Vinci... Leonardo da Vinci invented a flying machine.
I don't think you were going to say DiCaprio.
I wasn't. He invented a flying machine, but the Wright brothers didn't fly a plane until hundreds of years later. But was he the first person to think of, like, putting people in the sky? No. Like, if you go back, you know, and look at it from a religious perspective, then, like, gods are just people in the sky.
That might be, I don't know, it's a little, I guess it depends on what the base thought was. That's a little tough.
So, you know, the goal of trying to go to the sky is try to achieve godhood, right? And from a philosophical standpoint. So it's like, what's the difference? There's no new idea there. We just have different ways in which to try to reach that same goal. So the goal hasn't changed. The ways in which we try to reach that goal have, but I don't think that constitutes as a new idea.
And I think specifics can help, but I don't think it necessarily makes it a new idea either. There's some new Netflix movie, I don't know if you've heard of or seen it, it's called Unfrosted.
No.
And it was about the cereal race between Post and Kellogg's to invent the Pop-Tart, basically.
I think you mentioned this offhand.
Yeah, we might have talked about it recently. But the fact that, okay, both came up with the idea, one just did it more effectively than the other.
Yep.
And that's the one we know.
Yep. Pop-Tart wins. But, I don't know, I think even that is too small scale, you know?
Well, I mean, if you're going to make a broad statement that there are no new ideas, it has to apply to all, right?
Fair. I thought of another one. Moving people. Transportation. No new ideas. Whether you're doing it up into space, whether you're doing it across and at various speeds, whether you're walking, transportation, there are no new ideas.
See, I think one of my harder parts of the prompt is space.
The final frontier.
And science in general is like, okay, has nobody else actually thought to do this in this way before, or is just the person who thought of it didn't have the resources?
Yeah. The latter. We've been thinking about shit as long as we've existed. if again taking out the specificity, there's no general thought that hasn't been thought.
But I guess it's when we get to specific thoughts. I'm saying blanket statement are even specific thoughts you have. Oh, this is a great solution to this problem. Chances are somebody else also thought of that solution. It's just
You actually might lose me in the specificity.
okay.
Because no, no one has when you get so specific.
Sure.
Right.
Well, I guess that's the heart of it. I think the broad ones are easy.
Yeah.
But does the statement hold true when it's specific?
No.
Well.
Because this oddly enough, I immediately think back to the free will conversation that we had, and us making decisions and thinking about that decision, nanoseconds before we make that decision.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, but to that same discussion, our brain is going to think of a pathway that it knows leads to success. So it's looking at patterns that are effective, but it's looking at patterns.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody else's brain couldn't have thought of the same pattern?
It could have, but it didn't.
You don't know that it didn't. There's too many people to know that it
No, I know that it didn't, because I'm the only one that can think for me.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't. You can think it's an idea.
You can't think I'm hungry.
Yeah, but I'm hungry isn't. I can think you're hungry.
You won't experience it.
But I've also experienced hunger before.
Yeah,
the idea of hunger
but you can't
is
experience
not,
mine.
somebody throughout history, or even in existence at this moment, has had the same degree of hunger.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they're not me. So the way
But why does that matter, though?
because
I think that's the part.
because
that
the
I don't
way
think
that
matters.
my cells are organized and the way that my body reacts to stimuli is different than the next person whose cells are arranged in a different way than mine.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it an original thought. Everybody's cells have hit the same amount of chemical composition of I am this hungry before. It doesn't matter that it's you. It doesn't matter that it's me. It's not an original thought.
And thus there is no soul.
I mean,
You don't believe that.
I don't believe what? That there's no soul?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't trying to go there.
Well, I mean, that's what we get to, right?
I don't think that. No. You're trying to. I'm not necessarily saying with the whole brains thing. I'm just saying in terms of thoughts.
Yeah, let's not talk about brains. Let's talk about thoughts.
Well, for the sake of discussion, it can be different.
Okay. Go on.
I think what made me I had the topic beforehand, but one of the things that kind of reinforced it was actually our AI conversation.
Oh, okay.
In which you went into a program, you told them what we like, and it generated things that we would have thought of as topics.
Right. Because they're not original thoughts.
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean,
yeah, those are, for sure.
We've had moments where we clearly are like, yeah, okay, this is something that's done before we're doing it.
Yeah.
But we've also had things where, like, we're trying to be original.
I guess.
I mean, right? It's not something we've heard before.
It is, even if we don't remember it.
Well, that's I guess the tricky part.
That's
where we're sitting right now.
Because I feel like we can only reproduce content. We can't produce. We can only reproduce.
You don't think that you can? What about additions too?
It's just I don't think adding someone has an original idea, we're doing that original idea with a twist. I don't think that counts.
Then how do we progress?
Because the inspiration comes from the original idea, but the inspiration to do a twist on it comes from another idea. Right? So it's like, it's just a combination of two original ideas, so that idea did exist.
But is not putting those two separate original ideas together a new idea?
No.
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 What if nobody has thought to put those two ideas together before? First person who got jelly and peanut butter is like, what if?
So, going with that, right? Someone says, I'm going to put peanut butter on my sandwich.
Yeah.
Person B says, I'm going to put jelly on my sandwich. Person 3 says, I'm going to combine two things to put on my sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Is that not a new idea?
No, because I'm not saying specifically peanut butter and jelly. I'm saying, like, I'm going to put more than one thing on my sandwich.
And I guess that's the weeds, though. But I'm saying even in specifics.
Yeah, but you lose me in the specifics. So there's some specifics that, again, but that comes to like there's some specific things that only I can think because they're only I know them about me.
I think there's a slight medium between your personal experience and whether or not specifics matter.
I don't, because
like you thinking of, okay, I'm going to put peanut butter and jelly together is somewhere between I eat jelly and I'm putting more than one thing on a sandwich.
No, I put peanut butter and jelly on a sandwich is just an evolution of I put more than one thing on a sandwich.
But if nobody had
actually,
thought
no, it's the same thing.
But if nobody had thought to put those two things together before, does that not count? Why?
No, because it's not specific enough. Because it's combining two things that you think will be good, right? Like that's the.
What if you think they're bad and they're good? Like we also progress to some degree, right? From ancient Egypt to now, we have come up with things. We were sitting in a room full of lights and we were recording sound that we were going to turn into a video somehow.
You think that they didn't try to like produce light in some form?
I'm saying that
it's not wires, but like it's so it's fire instead of
so were
electricity.
Wires a new idea?
No, they're just an evolution. Like I don't think like the next step makes it new.
If it's never been done before, how isn't it new?
Because it's still the same base concept. I want to produce light.
Okay.
Whether that's by...
But there are different ways to produce light.
Yeah.
I want to produce light in a tube.
Yeah.
I want to produce light in a vacuum tube.
Fine. Cool. It comes down to I want to produce light, regardless of the form that it takes. So it's the same idea, just expressed in different ways. Right? And I think
I don't know. I
think art's the same.
You think art's the same?
Yeah, I don't think there's any new ideas in art.
So my other issue with all this, and what I was going to kind of mention, and why I think it's difficult at this point, is the way that media, specifically the internet, has evolved. Is that I think it's difficult to not have some form of grouping, like as a species, as anything that can and has ever interacted with anybody who has ever touched the internet. I think that at some point we are all kind of influenced in a direction to think of similar things.
So you think it's globalization is doing?
I think partially, yeah. I think that even if you try and be original on the internet, now there's also a group of people who have that same feeling. Whereas it's hard to come up with, or potentially impossible to come up with new ideas at this point, where everybody is experiencing so much of the same content, where even specific thoughts of this character versus this character has probably been thought of before. It's like Rule 34.
Yeah. It exists.
It exists.
If you've thought of it.
If you can think of it, that means somebody's thought of it and it is out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that rule's true. I mean, I guess, yeah. Like, yes, I've watched Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny before, the music video for it. Of course, I have.
I think Rule 34 is specifically about porn, but yeah,
it is. But
yeah.
I generalized it because you said something about someone versus someone, and then said Rule 34. So I brought it back to the someone versus someone discussion.
That's fair.
Thank you very much. So yeah, I've seen a lot of people fight before in a battle royale.
But you don't think it matters if, okay, this person against this person. I'm saying even that part of it.
No.
Has that been thought of before?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it has. Because, like, it's like the, whenever a thing exists, there's going to be fans of that thing, and there's going to be people who hate that thing.
Probably.
Right?
Can't think of necessarily one thing that defies that. I was going to say air, but fuck, we argue about that all the time. Not us specifically, but humans.
Yeah.
Not everybody likes water, although we damn well need it.
Yep. Whatever it is, we can find someone that likes it and someone that dislikes it.
Yeah.
So because of that, any quote unquote versus scenario is going to exist because naturally there is people who are going to pick sides.
Picking sides isn't necessarily thinking of the same thing, though, right?
No, I was speaking more towards like the groupthink piece.
Elaborate.
You mentioned
that
the internet globalization is leading towards more groupthink, which, in my eyes, I reworded as polarization.
Okay.
Thus, choosing sides, and in choosing said side, right? You are naturally having no new ideas. You're just reiterating ideas that you hear from other people in that group. And those people in that group are reiterating, in their words, ideas that they've learned from someone else. And it's just a continuous cycle.
I still feel like most of your comparisons are either really broad or really specific.
Yeah, because that's like, because in the extremes is the best way to like test an idea, right? Like you got to bring it to its polar ends to stretch it out as thinly as possible to see if it works in those odd cases.
That's fair. It's just hard because I was involved with science at one point in my education. I'm not even going to say career at this point.
Sure.
And it's like, how are their discoveries made? Is it that again, I think it comes back to resources to some degree.
Yeah.
Is that somebody with less resources, because we're all thinking along similar patterns and about similar things, probably thought about that. They just didn't have enough resources to let it be known.
Yeah,
Or to test it.
Modern technology to be able to, confirm, right? Like, when did we learn that water boiled versus when did we learn the temperature at which water boils?
Once we figured out temperature and made up temperature and said, okay, this is how we measure this.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
But that idea, we know that this is something that exists. We just don't have a way to test it yet. New technology comes along. Someone thinks, or not even technology, but like someone.
Technology, ways to measure things are still technology.
Sure. But I mean, I meant to go before that, right? So like before the invention of a thermometer, you know what I mean? Someone thinks like, all right, we're beginning to pin down that like you can measure energy in different ways, like whether that's giving off heat or light, you know what I mean? Like there's different ways to measure energy without a tool to do so. Then someone invents the tool to do so. Then the thermometer is invented, right? So it's like an earlier step and then a step and a step. But that concept of like, we're gonna get this water hot. It's gonna boil. It's gonna, release energy, and like we just don't have a way to measure it until we figure it out.
Yeah, or until somebody coined energy is going to release this thing that it needs to.
Yeah, even before then, exactly. But that's all the same idea. Mm-hmm. So you can invent new ways to like go back and track a new idea, but we don't. I don't consider that a new idea. I consider that just expanding on or progressing an idea that's already happened. I don't consider that a new thought.
A little kick in the face science here.
I don't. Okay, listen. Science is important, right?
Yeah,
like let's not.
No,
Right. Let's not get that twisted. But isn't the whole point of science to just like confirm things that we're already thinking?
I feel like there are some people who would argue, well, nobody had been able to think of this before because they didn't have the knowledge of this and this to be able to think that. Like gravitational lensing.
Oh boy. Okay.
Like,
sure.
Somebody had to think of gravity, and somebody else had to figure out a way to look real far.
Yeah.
Have a better understanding of all of the things needed to understand those things.
Yeah.
And then observe something that potentially nobody else had seen before.
Yeah. Sure. I think, even though it hasn't been seen, I think it's been thought about.
Okay.
Because I think, like, you don't need to observe a phenomena to, like, believe that there's that there's a way to, like, try and test it, or, like.
I know a black hole exists. I might not know what it looks like in the middle, but I'm pretty sure it's a black hole.
Yeah. Right? Like, I pray that I never see a black hole in person. Because I would die. But, do they exist? Sure. But at this point, like, we've seen stars explode. Like we have technology to be able to see that now. Was that an idea that was thought to be true before we saw that? Maybe. I don't know. Probably though. I would lean yes. So, what would cause such a a large fluctuation in gravity in the space
Space. Gravity.
and the space? So, no new ideas. Unless, you know what? I'll flip the script on you. Every idea is a new idea. I'll take the opposite perspective now.
But
We've agreed for too much.
But how does that even work?
Because it goes back to that concept of the individual that's thinking it. So, in that sense, right, we have to, in this space, let's play in this space. In this space we're playing in, there is something that differentiates me from you beyond, like, the physical level.
If there is.
Yeah, we're playing in this space.
Yeah.
Okay? There's something that differentiates me and you beyond the physical level. If that is true, then every idea that I have is a new idea because it's coming from me.
I guess is there a difference between new to you and new? I think yes, but I don't know if it matters.
Okay. Go on.
Is like new to a person, sure, somebody can experience something for the first time. That's hard to argue. That's how we learn.
Yeah.
You had your first breath. You had your first whatever. Literally everything.
Yeah.
But it's not new in that sense. Because so is everybody else. But it's...
But we're in a space where there's something different
about that
beyond the physical. So, my metaphysical me, whatever that means, this is highfalutin bullshit. So, it is the first time that my metaphysical, my quote unquote spirit, soul, whatever, is experiencing that thing. So, in that sense, it's a new idea because blank insert name of, say my Kevin's spirit breathed for the first time. And it's specifically mine, a thing that belongs to me because it's beyond the physical.
So it's holistically me. I don't know if they use that word right.
I don't think you did. Because when you holistically look at something, you take everything into account. It's like there's no singular factor that you weigh in more on than other things. It's taking a very broad brush approach to something. So I don't think that applies to the specificity of an individual's spirit that is unique to every person having a new idea. And again, this is just...
No, yeah.
We're just in that thought experiment, right? I mean, you have to... There's a lot that you have to agree is true to even get to this point of,
And that's also really hard because that depends on what version of belief you're running in, right?
Sure.
If you're in spirits, and you believe in spirits, fine, but if reincarnation is a thing, that might not even be a new thing for the metaphysical you.
Right. I agree. If reincarnation is a thing, then the metaphysical entity within me that may or may not exist has likely experienced everything I've experienced before. Unless we get specific.
At least most of it.
I don't know if...
Well, unless some destiny keeps having you run through the same events over and over in slightly new settings.
So, we were news reporters in a past life.
Or storytellers. We liked to argue.
That's true. We were lawyers in a past life.
Gross.
Yeah, right?
I wonder what the oldest form of a lawyer is. At what point did somebody say, I need somebody else to represent me?
Probably when we got to a point where kings weren't the ones that were the sole people. No, actually, I don't know if that's true.
I don't know. I don't think that's true. I think it's...
Yeah, I don't know if that's
true. You think
true
it
either.
start with translators?
Oh, that's an interesting idea. No, I don't think so. Because I feel like if someone couldn't understand the language, they were automatically guilty.
Yeah, but until they found somebody who knew both, and then it was like, you did that, and they made the argument like, you do that pretty well. You should make that argument for other people. That's almost what lawyers are. They're translating laws for people.
Yeah, for money.
Okay.
Which I'm sure was happening back then too, right? Like I'm sure it was happening because they were going to get paid for it, because that is the motivator of all motivators in our society. So,
well, we do live in a society.
We do live in a society where there are no new ideas, unless every idea is a new idea.
And even then, maybe some of the time.
Even then, maybe some of the time, but every idea is a new idea. Because it's me. And I am a special boy. So if I think of it, no one else has. I'm the one. I'm Neo. Right? Everything. I'm the main character. So every idea I have is brand new and no one has ever thought of it before. You're not the main character. Sorry.
I didn't say I was.
So I know your thoughts before you think them.
Well, when did that come into play?
Well, I'm the main character.
No, the main character doesn't. The narrator does.
Oh, shit, you got me. Alright. I want to be the narrator now.
Yeah, screw being the main character.
Yeah, that sounds like it sucks now.
I'm either the writer or the narrator. I'm putting this shit together.
Yeah. I'm okay with being the narrator, because at least I know, but I don't have to create.
So you want the lazy out.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still important enough to matter, but it's not my fault if shit goes down south. That's the best way to be, I'd say. And none of those ideas are my ideas.
That'd be a fun concept for a book or movie, I guess. Maybe it'd be harder to do. You're the narrator, but as a character, and you're also the writer as a character in the thing.
It's happened.
Probably. I can't think of an example specifically.
Oh, me either, but you just had that thought, so it's happened.
Let me snippet, actually.
Yeah. It's a series of unfortunate events. Yeah. Is from the perspective of someone going through it.
Huh.
Yeah. So yeah, it exists.
Yeah, so alright, yeah, whatever.
And before that, it also existed in a different form. But the same idea.
So is our preference not really, that's a cool new idea. It's, I like the way that idea feels for me.
Yeah, actually. I think so. Since there are no new ideas,
there is no innovation.
It's just a matter of applying ideas that someone else has had. And if you think of it for yourself for the first time, even though it exists, it could still be applied to you, even if it already has been applied to someone else. This is getting very... I'm saying words that mean nothing anymore.
No. I think that worked.
I'm saying words that don't even mean... They're just words. You're just taking that idea and saying it's my idea. And then you sell it.
And profit.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Probably not.
Or you just have two fans who make the podcast.
This is for us.
I
got two
fans.
fans. It all comes back. No original ideas.
I mean, damn, I mean, it's cynical. I did this. I did this.
Yeah.
But if there are no new ideas, then why do we keep going?
Narcissism.
I didn't mean us specifically.
Oh shit! Well, ooh, I thought you did. Yeah, I mean, God, I'm really starting to get used to listening to my voice back. You know, it's starting to enjoy it a little bit. Like, you know. With the this is also going to be bad, but I'm going to stick with us for a second. With the hopes that someone else enjoys it as much as we do.
That's fair.
Right?
Yeah. All right. That would be cool.
Exactly.
Those fucked up people.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's fine.
It's fine.
We don't care. Not that we don't care.
No, yeah, that's not right.
We don't care if you're fucked up.
Oh, yeah, no, right.
Yeah. You're just one another crew. You know?
Part of the ship.
Part of the ship, part of the crew. Yep. But at the very beginning, when you presented this concept, you seemed, to me at least, surprised of my reaction.
I don't know about... Well, surprised in your reaction only because I'm ready for you to fight me at all times in everything I've said or will say.
Well, yeah, as you should. But you didn't think that I was going to say yes to the prompt.
It wasn't my first thought, I guess. No.
I'm just curious.
No, I felt like it was something you would either jive with, or you would immediately find the holes about.
Yeah, that's fair. I jive with it. There are no new ideas.
As depressing as it sounds, I think it might be true.
Yeah, and I did think that again, ignoring for specificity and philosophical examples.
In philosophical
examples?
In.
Ignoring for specificity in philosophical examples.
In philosophical, okay.
Yes, the fun little theory that we've batted around for a while. Outside of that one instance, I don't think there's any new ideas. And then, hold on. No, I had a thought, and then I immediately ixnayed it. But
what was the
evolution was my thought.
That was kind of I thought of that a little earlier.
So but like incremental change has always existed.
Well, yeah, I don't know if evolution is a new thought, but the way evolution functions is that new. Is that not just applying scenarios to new things and seeing what sticks at the board? The board being a petri dish called Earth in this case.
It's not a new idea. It's just a new way to observe the same idea. Creation and evolution are two sides of the same coin. The coin remains the same. How we got to the coin is what changed.
Okay.
But the coin remained the same, and the coin is the idea that, like...
Had to start somewhere?
Yeah, right? Or other, like, big bangs. Like the Big Bang. Mm-hmm. Right? Is that how everything started? Or was it divine, I guess? Two sides of the same coin. But the thought getting back to how did we start?
And I think that's. I mean, I guess when I ask what makes us keep going, right? If there are no new ideas, why continue? And the first, easier thought was religion, but in a world where there's increased, less of that or less reliance on that.
Yeah. Less of that.
Less of that.
Less of established forms of that.
I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's becoming more personalized.
Well, then there's more established forms of that. They didn't stop existing. They just aren't used as much.
No, I think something becoming more personal is not it being established.
Okay.
Right, like each individual believes what they believe in a religion, right? Whether it's they do or they don't, or whatever, all the various forms they're within. Mm-hmm. And day by day, people are becoming more personal in like, okay, I believe this, but not this. I believe this, but not this. That sort of thing, right? Which is picking away at the established response and the established answer. So I think it is in becoming more personal, becoming less established.
I just meant that there's not less established religion in the sense that the quantity has not gone down. If anything, there are more established religion organizations. So organizations don't tend to go away. They're just, in the quantity of organized religion is increased.
Okay, and I'm talking from a person-to-person perspective.
Right, yeah.
So we're just looking at it from different perspectives.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Why are we talking about religion?
Well, because...
Oh, reasons to go on. Right.
Reasons to go on.
Yeah, well, we don't have that one. So.
Oh, shit.
Other people. Whether or not your ideas are new doesn't matter. Because you can have the same idea with other people who are having that same idea, and there is enjoyment in that.
Interesting.
Establishing social relationships.
So if you're not religious, try not to hate people, because it could be tough.
You can hate people, just don't hate.
Don't hate people alone.
Ooh, yeah, I like that. Yeah, find someone that you can hate everyone else with.
Yeah.
Or like a small group that you can hate everyone else with.
One of those works better.
Yeah.
One of those two, I bet.
Yeah, but at least if you have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when we say hate, we don't mean like hate. We just mean hate. We shouldn't try to push people to establish hate groups.
Oh no!
Is what I'm saying. That's like there's. I thought back on the words we were saying, and I'm like, this sounds very dangerous.
Yeah.
Out of context, or even in context. And
yes,
I think
if you
we need
hate
to
people, find like-minded people to hate those people with.
Right. Right. When you say that, and now you think about it in this context, it's a lot worse, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not what I meant.
Yeah, no. Don't, actually hate people, but,
unless it's all of them, yeah.
Ooh.
Equally.
Find, hate people who drive. Can we all agree to that one? Can we all agree to hate people that drive? That's discriminatory, too. Fuck.
Yeah.
Love everyone. But not too much. And only if it's legal. Fuck, we can't make a blanket statement about anything, can we?
A little bit harder now.
People. Find
Well,
people.
Bill, we arrived at one instead. There are no ideas. We're having a hard time finding a blanket statement that keeps people going after that realization.
People. People. That's the one. That's the only reason to still exist.
Don't go it alone.
And that people can be just you.
That people can be just you.
If you have the motivation to continue existing, you don't need to have new ideas to find contentedness.
Yes, I'm sorry. That might have also sounded bad. I'm not saying that there is not worth in doing this alone.
Yeah.
Keep on doing that.
We need to say something and then immediately backtrack. And
every time
we do something.
Every time.
Just for the rest of speaking.
Yeah, so when one of us go back and listen to this, we're not upset with the other one.
Yeah.
Or themselves later on.
Right. Or we are. And we just have to deal with it.
Then we just have to deal with it.
Yeah. So people.
Or
religion, maybe. Can we get a third?
I was hoping for a third. I'm having a hard time with that. Ooh, okay. Biological drive, Mr. Word for the brains.
Yeah. The brains want us to stay alive.
Yeah, because otherwise, what are they doing?
Dying.
Yeah.
They don't want that.
And not typically.
And if they do want that, you should talk to someone.
You should probably talk to someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sooner rather than later.
From my understanding and experience.
Yeah. That one I don't think we have to walk back.
No, it was a walk back, so yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. I think it's just a PSA. Talk to people.
Talk to people when you haven't found the other two things and you're struggling with a third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But your brain wants you to stay alive.
And so do we.
And so do we. For the most part. Within reason. I don't know you. What does your life mean to me?
Who
Nothing.
are you?
You haven't had a new thought. Why do I care? But yeah, I honestly don't believe. I've come around to the fact that, the point that, I won't say it's a fact, but come around to the point that it doesn't matter if our thoughts are new or not. Because
that's certainly the less cynical way to look at it.
Yeah, because, our experiences are going to be what they are. Our life is going to be however we choose to shape it. And whether that's a new idea or an old idea or an idea someone's had before, I don't think it ultimately matters.
Yeah.
Because it's never going to impact my day-to-day existence.
Yeah, just don't let it impact your day-to-day existence.
Yeah. Yes. Don't think about it too much that it stops you from being a human.
So there are certainly people who that's their goal is to think of new things.
Yeah, philosophy exists.
Well, okay. Is philosophy thinking of new things or just trying to explain things?
Philosophy is just study of thinking.
Well, yeah. Doesn't mean it's new.
Well, someone thought to study it, didn't they? Someone thought to think.
They thought to think to think.
They thought to think to study to think. Yeah, I know you meant science. But
it
gotcha, bitch.
Not either. So.
Yeah. Take that. Humanities for the win, baby.
CLAS.
Yeah. Fuck you if you're an engineer. You don't have any original ideas. You can't save this planet.
We're all going down. It's a fiery pit. Ride it.
Yeah, just enjoy the ride. Which I hope that y'all did.
Hope that y'all did. Seeing that we've clearly established there are new ideas, maybe we'll be back.
Ooh. Well, thanks for at least listening to us rehash ideas that someone else has had before.
Clearly.
But you get to hear us do it. Aren't you lucky?
Aren't you lucky?
We love you.
He does.